We have the results of a story we first brought you on Friday. A 2-week multi-agency operation recovered a record number of children from dangerous situations right here in the Bay Area. 8 on Your Side went undercover with investigators as many of the children were being exploited by human traffickers. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson is in Tampa with more. Jeff.
Good evening, Stacy. 60 children were rescued in this 2-week operation that spanned Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties. 60 children taken out of incredibly dangerous situations that some people have called a living nightmare. It's an operation that took months of planning to identify at-risk children and the people putting them there.
Kids that were in critical danger, many the victims of trafficking, many missing kids.
The U.S. Marshals Service organized the operation with the help of law enforcement agencies on both sides of the bay. 20 agencies, more than 100 people involved in rescuing 60 at-risk children and arresting 8 people. Our cameras were there as children were recovered and arrests made.
The majority were being trafficked. The 8 people that we arrested, it wasn't just a child. Some of them had multiple children working for them. You know, in the old days, we used to call these people pimps. Now we call them human traffickers, but they're criminals.
The 8 people arrested are now charged with crimes ranging from human trafficking to child endangerment and drug possession.
These child were underages. If you look at the average age of the offender, well into their late 30s and 40s, and then the age of the children were from 9 to 17.
But the head of the FDLE in Florida says the operation cannot just stop after 2 weeks.
And this doesn't stop here today. This should continue on and on.
Last week, we showed you an intake facility set up at a Bay Care facility that offers the children that are taken from this operation, recovered from this operation. It gives them a chance to have food, clothing, medical, and psychological care if they want it. Everyone involved in this operation has told me that the recovery operation is just the start of a long road for these children. Stacy?
And Jeff, 60 children, that sounds like a very, very big number. Any idea how many more who are out there from the Bay Area who are considered at risk?
Well, we're told that those 60 children, that's a record number, the largest number recovered in an operation like this across the United States. And the people with this operation, the U.S. Marshals Service tells me that they believe that they recovered 90% of the children that they are after, but there are still more children that are out there. They're working to identify them and recover them as well. Stacy?
All right. Jeff Patterson reporting in Tampa. Thank you.
Well, tonight, a rare, unfiltered look inside the largest child recovery operation in U.S. history. 60
children and teens being trafficked in Tampa Bay are safer tonight. U.S. Marshals led a 2-week operation to recover critically missing and endangered children. The Marshals, along with local law enforcement agencies, were able to locate the missing kids ages 9 to 17. And police also made 8 arrests.
The number is not just a statistic, it represents a life and a future that was given one more chance.
And we are giving you an inside look. Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis spent a day with the Marshals and a team of detectives on the front lines of a missing child investigation. What she witnessed, you'll see for yourself. Here's an exclusive look of that search.
The search for a missing child takes investigators to all kinds of streets, alleyways, and motels.
Can I give you my number so you call me, you see her?
Since 2015, the U.S. Marshals, known for their ability to find wanted fugitives, have been using their investigative skills to recover critically missing kids.
You got a minor in your house, bro.
Over the course of 2 weeks, the Marshals teamed up with detectives in Tampa, Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, and St. Pete, as well as Pasco County, to find kids in dangerous situations. We joined up with the Tampa team, made up of TPD detectives from the Special Victims Unit and U.S. Deputy Marshal Paul Cherasi.
First one's a 15-year-old female. It's been missing since the beginning of April. We got some leads that she might be in the West Tampa area, so we're going to be following up there today, seeing if we can locate her.
The team has been looking for a missing 15-year-old girl. We're calling her Paula.
We believe that they're in a company with adults who are aiding them, hiding them, providing them resources such as food and housing.
Detectives say she ran away from her mom's home, and the task force is concerned for her safety.
Common sense would dictate that adults who are not relatives do not take care of other people's children for nothing. They're getting something in return. So due to that, we have serious concerns that there may be exploitation occurring.
Be in that area?
Okay.
So do that first.
The team got some good leads from a West Tampa neighborhood the day before and decide to keep working that area.
All right, so yeah, a couple blocks north.
Detective Tony Ortiz has been in contact with Paula's mom.
And that's very concerning for any parent. And she's been gone since April this time, and she hasn't run away that many times before.
They rely on information from the community, knocking on doors and just talking to people.
It's the girl they're looking for right here, supposed to be.
We just want to take her back to her mom, man.
I gave him my number.
Next, we check a corner store that has a camera outside. There's no video of her, but someone recognizes Paula's photo.
But she's been here by herself.
The task force says many of the children they're looking for during this operation are in the foster care system, and many find themselves running from something or towards something, but oftentimes get into a more dangerous situation.
Just because a young person ran away or just because someone asked them to leave, it doesn't make them any less at risk.
At a command center, partner agencies are gathering information and working leads on the missing kids to then pass on to the officers in the field.
We know that when kids are missing, kids are at risk.
Dr. Catherine Gomez is the director of human trafficking intervention for the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice. She says trafficking happens in every county and every city in Florida, where kids are exploited by adults in exchange for food, clothing, or shelter.
There are kids from here, born here, raised here. There are kids being exploited right here in Florida by fellow local people.
This operation, Operation Dragon Eye, started with a list of around 60 to 80 missing kids. When we visited the command center 8 days in, the count showed more than 40 had been found.
Been worried about this kid. We've wondered where they've been and what they've been up to.
Gomez says after recovery, they work through next steps, which could include launching investigations into child abuse or other criminal investigations and finding a safe place for the child. Underscoring this urgent search for these kids is what can happen if they aren't found. This year, 16-year-old Miranda Corset went missing. Gulfport police say she was chronically running away from her grandmother's home.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Police arrested 35-year-old Stephen Gress for allegedly beating her to death and then dismembering her body. In 2022, 14-year-old Alexia Alexander was found shot to death in East Tampa after running away from home. 44-year-old Ronnie Walker was arrested for her murder. So the marshals know after 3 months it is critical to find Paula.
One of the comments that we got from one of the guys on the street was that she's going to end up hurt or dead.
Yeah, we might just suit up.
A few hours into the search, a new lead comes in. They have a location for her. The task force approaches the home.
Tampa police. Looking for her. The information that she's here. Yes, sir.
Bro.
Tabian's here. What's your name, sir? She's here.
We know she's here.
We know she's here.
Hold on. Let me go check. I've been here all day.
Hold on.
Don't close the door. Don't close the door.
Just have her come outside, bro.
That's it. That's all we want.
That's all we want.
We don't care about anybody else in the house.
And when detectives search inside, they find Paula.
We searched the house, knocked on the brother's door. Brother answered, and Juvenile was hiding under his bed. Under his bed. So right now we're just gonna follow the investigation, see if we can make any arrests, and see where we can go from there.
2 men at the home claim they didn't know she was underage. And at this time, the task force doesn't have enough to make an arrest. But they say the investigation will continue.
We need to show to the court that he knew she was a minor. We're not there yet.
When we started this day, Detective Tony Ortiz shared with me his approach when he finds the teens.
And I'm gonna talk to her mostly as a father. Mostly as a father figure, not as a law enforcement officer. And I'm gonna hear her out, see what she has to say.
And a few hours later, that is exactly what he was doing with Paula.
And your mom wants you back. You have to live your life you have to live your childhood. Don't skip on childhood. You're gonna miss out.
The next stop will be a special unit at St. Joseph's Hospital where Paula can receive physical and mental health services and the resources to perhaps find a safer path forward.
A lot of them don't have any hope, and that's what we're also doing with this operation is trying to instill hope.
In Tampa, Genevieve Curtis, Fox 13 News.
Well, today, Genevieve also spoke with U.S. Marshal William Berger, who used to be a foster parent and understands the environments that can cause children to run away in the first place. He says the risk for them running away is high.
What we've done is two-pronged. One is, again, being able to identify them, being able to save them, but then putting them in a process with, as mentioned, daycare and other facilities to help them both physically and psychologically. And hopefully we can turn it around. We're praying that if 50% of the children can be saved permanently, that's a tremendous success.
Tomorrow night, we're going to take you inside the hub where medical staff, advocates, and survivors of trafficking are providing help and resources to the children recovered during this operation.
And tonight we have the results of a story we first brought you.
60 missing Bay Area children were located during a 2-week operation by the U.S. Marshals, and officials say this was the largest child recovery mission in U.S. history. Their goal was to find the most at-risk kids.
One would have been a success, but 60? So last night we took you inside the operation where one of those missing kids was found. But so what happens next? What happens after they're recovered? Well, Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis got an exclusive inside look at this operation and the next steps.
First one's a 15-year-old female.
We were with the U.S. Marshals and a team of Tampa Police Special Victims Unit detectives as they spent the day looking for a missing 15-year-old girl.
Can I give you my number? So you call me, you see her? So yeah, a couple blocks north.
We just want to take her back to her mom, man.
The teen we're calling Paula was reported missing by her mother in April.
We have serious concerns that there may be exploitation occurring.
They believe she's in danger.
One of the comments that we got from one of the guys on the street was that she's going to end up hurt or dead.
After 2 days of looking for her, they found Paula in a West Tampa neighborhood inside a home with 2 adult men she had no relation to.
We searched the house, knocked on the brother's door, brother answered, and juvenile was hiding under his bed. So right now we're just gonna follow the investigation, see if we can make any arrests, and see where we can go from there.
The next stop.
All right, we'll go upstairs.
Is a special unit at St. Joseph's Hospital set up specifically for this operation. So this is where the girls come in.
This is the entrance. It's secure.
Baycare and other organizations took the time to intentionally make the ward feel warm and homey with decorated rooms, blue sheets instead of white, bags of snacks and other comforts for the kids coming here after being rescued.
And then they also get, a bag of toiletries. So like some fresh clothes, clean clothes, warm fuzzy blankets.
They're offered medical care and services, STI and pregnancy testing. In at least one case, a child had a life-threatening condition and had to be taken to the ER.
We are just trying to create a positive experience with healthcare, so we don't force anything upon these girls.
When we visited, about 40 girls had been through here already. Almost all of them had experienced some form of sexual trauma or trafficking.
Most, if not all, of the girls that have come through here have said, yes, I do want to talk to someone. Yes, I do want some testing. All of them are have been very open to that.
Beyond that, the children are also connected with organizations and advocates who can help them through the next steps in their journey and figure out a safe place for them.
Kids are either running to something or they're running from something.
Laura Henderson knows all too well what these kids have been through.
Because I was that kid once, so I'm able to meet with these kids and connect with them and, really give them that sense of, they're not alone. If I can make it out of that life, they can too.
As a survivor turned advocate, she has turned her pain into purpose. Henderson says she lost her mom when she was a child and was in the foster care system until she was adopted. But her adoptive parents later split and her father died.
And that led me to a drug dealer who I got into a relationship, and he ultimately exploited me for 4 years.
Inside the rooms at St. Joseph's, she sees the pain and trauma from those recovered during this operation.
Because they're hurt, they're scared, they're alone, they've been rejected, they've been abandoned. And I say that because I see that was me.
And she spends time getting to know them, being the advocate that she wishes she would have had at their age. By the end of this 2-week operation, more than 50 kids came through the doors of this recovery wing. For the Marshals, this 2-week mission doesn't stop at finding the missing. It's about making sure they can find themselves too. In Tampa, Genevieve Curtis, Fox 13 News.
Now, organizations like Redefining Refuge are there to support survivors, and for many, their journey is really just the beginning for advocates. Sharing several of these young girls that were rescued were pregnant. One girl who was pregnant with a trafficker's child. This operation that they say helped create an international and generational change.
To every single person that is sitting in this room, to the officers who knocked on that door, you didn't just give our child a chance. You didn't just protect her. You protected her child. And now because of you, a baby has the opportunity to be born addiction-free. This child was forced to use substances by her trafficker throughout her pregnancy. And so a baby gets to be born addiction-free. A baby gets to be born to a mom who's not being sold every day.
So 8 people were also arrested as part of this operation. Some are facing charges ranging from interfering with child custody to human trafficking. In fact, one man was given a bond of $250 million.